Hi, folks. I want to talk about some very interesting things I saw September 29th and the week following that in Knoxville, Tennessee. How it may or may not be related to the drone thing, what I think the drones are, and what I think are some possibilities from best to worse. From bad to bad to bad. Okay, so I'm just going to freestyle here. Working on security at a location, Knoxville, Tennessee, where until it had gotten cold, I would sit at least half the night outside a lawn chair, outside my vehicle, and just paying attention, right? Well, even when it had gotten dark on September 29th, I looked up and, hearing the airplanes going over, there is an airport about 30 minutes south, 203 miles northwest. Tip of Tennessee, bottom tip of Kentucky would be where the 101st Airborne are. There was a lot going on at the time with hurricanes and slash things heating up, possible Iran stuff, Russia, Ukraine stuff, etc. So Occam's razor, whatever. But anyway, I looked up and I saw what I believe to be a triangular aircraft with the three kind of lights underneath it, what has been described for a long time as the TR3 or TR3b, or I think it's Black Mamba Mantra or something along those lines. Okay. Which was extremely weird because it sounded like a disguise to sound like a 747. So it's not a 747. I've seen B-2s fly over. I've seen F-117s fly over. It was not that. Okay. So definitely a triangular craft. Did I think it was little green aliens? No, I didn't even think it was the tall gray interdimensional travelers either, for that matter of fact. And I'm being half funny with that. But triangular aircraft. Shortly following that was a definitely totally, like, almost completely blacked out big airplane. Something probably C-130s size or AWAC size. Something following it, tracking it. Then right after that, I start seeing, and you can see videos that I took of blacked out, very low flying, which may be blacked out choppers, flying with night vision training up, or maybe nest choppers looking for dirty stuff, possibly. Oak Ridge is just a little bit northwest, where a whole bunch of sneaky, top secret-y stuff happens at least two public facilities and one less public that I believe. So not that far away. Anyway, saw a whole bunch of these low flying things. Are those choppers? I don't know. Military bros, let me know if those look like choppers flying with night vision, or are those big hybrid VTOL aircraft, something like a mini Osprey or a small bus, as being reported in the news that half of these drones look like. If you look at my footage and the sound signature, kind of looks like maybe these are these large bus supposed drones, which are like hybrid VTOL, something like the Archer Aviation. Seems like in the last few days the stock has gone up, with probably a lot of Congress people buying stock in Archer Aviation, and I'm sure other drone divisions that are being tested by the DoD for larger military orders. Like, some have obviously been delivered, etc. Before I get on how this may or may not relate, I don't know. It's just what I saw. Okay, and you can look at the footage I have of these really low flying things. Maybe nest choppers, maybe just training up as they push for war with Iran or Russia, or these kind of rotary that rotate mini Osprey like VTOLs. Now, for the public, it'll be electronic, for short flights, but military is hybrid engine most likely, right? So for longer range, longer flight durations, the stuff that's being reported. Besides that, at early dusk, that week following, besides a lot of these chopper slash VTOL activity, there was 5A10s that flew overhead, which is pretty unusual. Like I said, 101st is way far away. And other than the air show, which wasn't going on, I checked. You usually don't see those overhead. They flew right over me and then banked northwest. And there was a Predator drone, which I've also never seen living in the South. Okay, living in Tennessee 4 years now. I've never seen a Predator drone going over. So is that just training, or is that possibly looking for something? I don't know. Now, with what's going on in the, particularly the Northeast, but there's been other states for multiple years now, and in UK and Germany, etc., there's probably at least 2 different drones. Now, should the big ones be called drones when they're really like transpo craft to either transport human beings or, stuff for the military? I don't know if they should be called drones or not, whether they're, flown or not, including the triangular craft. By now, maybe that was, testing of AI piloting, and then we're tracking its movements behind. That's totally plausible. Right. So, excuse my voice. Anyway, before I go to I do feel, and this is going to sound crazy, I do feel like since that first video, there has been a car in a van and seems to be following me. Very strange, right? Even seems like a little honeypot date was set up to ask me questions. As strange as that sounds, I don't know. So was this pre-planning for what's going on now, which is like a DoD plan thing, I'm sure, or what? So is it just a plan thing? It's probably mostly a plan thing. Could they be looking for some dirty material? Absolutely. But most likely this is all about, in literally 3 days, the bill expires about drones, and the new bill is going to be signed because of all the fear mongering to give them more money, expand probably stuff in the fine print that you don't want to be expanded, to take away more freedoms, more Fourth Amendment violations, etc. So that is taking place December 20th. This is December 17th now as I film this. So that would be happening anyway. It's like, hey, we have to test these before the bigger orders anyway on these large ones, so we'll put our small ones up and the large ones, and we'll do a PSYOP on everybody and fearmonger, and that will get our bill. That is the number one priority. Could they actually be looking for some dirty material? Yeah, New Jersey, I think governor just came out and there was some material stolen, damaged container, and stolen December 2nd. Unfortunately, actually, material like that gets transported a lot around where I live in Oak Ridge. I mean, there's even job postings for the security guys. I'm too old to be able to do what those guys are required to do to transpo nuclear and biological and probably biologic hybrid stuff that's going on up there. Honestly, that's just where we are with technology. So would this be happening anyway? Yeah, I think it would be happening anyway. Do I think it's little green guys? No. Obviously, they have FAA lights on them. So they're always going to test this anyway before this bill gets signed and do huge, billion-dollar purchases and all that. So why not test it, fearmonger, and get the bill signed? Why not do some PSYOP stuff before the new administration comes in? Sure. Could they be looking for dirty stuff? That's why my stuff might relate. Maybe something went missing from, Oak Ridge area, Tennessee. That's possible. Not being in Afghanistan, and even someone seeing a triangular craft of ours, TR3b, maybe C, because it's not got a pilot in it, probably being followed by another darked out thing to track it, large airplane, and then all these little things, little being helicopter slash small bus size craft, low flying. I don't know. Okay, maybe. Do I think that the actual powers that be that have been running things for a while now, the end of the world as we know it, that produced movies, maybe those people that like to talk about all the power grid going down in their movie that they produced, and airplanes falling out of the sky. I'm not fear mongering here. I think I got the title. I'm not sure if I got the title of the movie right. That they do little electric grid in New Jersey, Northeast going down. That would not surprise me. Before to build up the military industrial complex before they leave, this fear mongering to get this bill passed on the 20th. Will they even go so far to have some electrical grid stuff getting shorted out? We see flickering lights and some other things that's already been happening. That's a very low level. I totally believe they are dirty enough to do that. So be prepared for that. Are they dirty enough to make a couple of planes fall out of the air? I'll leave that to you to decide. But if a few planes fly out of the air, or if a little dirty bomb goes off, I would say, well, there's definitely a lot of good people, some patriotic people, until you get to the high levels in the government. I would say that it might be allowed or facilitated from really high ups. If it is allowed to happen or somewhat facilitated, and I'm not saying Iran or Russia or Ukraine or China aren't bad actors or whatever, right? There's bad actors everywhere. But if it's allowed to happen at this point, that would be obviously the worst, right? The electrical thing wouldn't surprise me. Another level is a couple planes flying out of the air. And, high level would be, obviously a dirty bomb to blame it on, most likely Iran or Russia or whatever. If that is allowed to take place, even maybe a lot are really looking for something dirty right now, that's totally plausible. But if it happens, I'm just saying I would think that would probably be allowed to have happened. And to blame that completely on some little terror group that Iran backed or something, to think that it wasn't allowed to happen, I think would be foolish. Hopefully that doesn't. I'm not surprised by this little PSYOP. I'm not surprised at them trying to get their funding. Number one, that would be happening anyway. Is it related to what I saw? I don't know. It could be, because those totally look like the Archer Aviation or something like a mini Osprey, mini bus size hybrid VTOL testing, pre-testing for this most likely big DOD. They have the lights. They haven't been shot down. Obviously, the government, the president knows. The president-elect obviously said they know. So it's part testing and part maybe looking for stuff. Dirty material goes missing all the time. Hey, we've lost nukes before. We've accidentally, we've done a lot of really bad stuff. So when the government says we're here to help and they want more money, pay attention. If you could do anything to stop that vote from going through, well, I'm sure we do need some things to, obviously drone warfare is a big deal, and, even the large commercial ones are extremely dangerous, right? If we're not going to warmonger from the new cabinet, let's at least get in what we can to keep the flow of money going to the military industrial complex. That's probably it. No, I don't think it's little green guys. And if you believe in that, it's probably the tall gray interdimensional ones, and they're the ones that have likely saved us multiple times in the past. If they meant harm, we'd just be vaporized. Like, the technological advancements would be so far above us, we're like ants. You really shouldn't fear that, because if that was to be feared, it'd just be instant. Okay. So I wouldn't freak out about that, but I would freak out about, this is them doing dirty things that shouldn't be allowed on the American people to get more of our tax money for their warmongering friends and all the kickbacks that they do. Especially in those areas, I'd be prepared for electrical grid. I've been expecting it anyway. That's very plausible. It really is. Would they do that on the way out? Now, will they go so far to possibly a few airplanes falling out of the sky? They wouldn't put it past them. Are they so evil as to, I don't want to say do, but maybe manipulate, allow, facilitate a dirty thing from going off? Possible. And I'm not fear mongering, but that's just how nasty they are. So hopefully I don't get taken out. I do feel cars have been following me, which is really weird. At first I thought it was just because I applied for a job, but then now it's occurred to me that some of that didn't happen until after I put up the first little video, and then cars are following me, and then a van. I do literally have a friend who was an FBI. The agent hadn't talked to him in a while, and as soon as we click off a 3-hour conversation talking about how what I think some of these things could happen that would escalate things beyond reproach, including China going on to Taiwan and or a dirty bomb going off somewhere, a white panel van that shouldn't have been there seemed, honestly, I'm not crazy. My IQ is about 153. I am not crazy. I don't usually do political stuff. I've been just that martial art nerd and pistol reviews. But, you know, when you start putting people on me possibly to follow me, here's what you get. Let me know what you think of the comments down below. No, I'm not crazy. No, I feel healthy. I'm happy. Doctors just said all my blood work and everything did okay, so I need to say that too. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. So just in case, because things are really that strange. So maybe they didn't want me pointing out, like, yeah, we were already sending these things out for testing and or looking for something at the time. It could be related. Just happened to be me that, you know, had a job where I'm listening to the airplanes and whatnot. Okay, so thanks everybody. Let me know if you want more content like this or even expand on some of this stuff. I know we're getting out there a little bit, but it is interesting times we live in. Hopefully things will get better soon. Hopefully they don't do too much damage as they go out the door and they just got their money grubby hands doing as much as they can. Thank you. Kaboom.